Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about Xbox Series S and why I think Microsoft should rebrand this as a kid and family console and allow Xbox Series X to get exclusive games. Um, I'm not saying that the Xbox Series S is a an inferior machine by any means. I am simply saying that we've heard from a few developers that the Xbox Series S might hold this generation back a little bit. And I mean, I can kind of see that later into the generation. I mean, it's clearly running Resident Evil Village at 1440p at 60 frames a second without the ray tracing on, but it does suffer pretty bad when it gets down to when you turn the ray tracing on. So, in order to combat that, I believe that Microsoft should allow Xbox Series X to have exclusive games made for it, but I think it should be more. I think it should be more marketed as a mature rated games only. I feel that if Microsoft was to remarket the Xbox Series S as a kid and a family console and put it more in that vein of like the Nintendo Switch and have developers focus more on content for that system. Because, I mean, if you think about it, games like Ori and the Will of Wisps and Super Lucky's Tale and stuff, these games can hit 4K at 100 or at 60 frames a second on that machine. So if Microsoft was to take the smart road and market that console, the Series S, as more of a kid and a family console, I think they could grow both consoles in this generation simultaneously while providing an experience on both of these platforms that are next gen experiences. If you take if you take if you take the Series S and you put it in its own little ecosystem that is marketed more towards a younger generation of gamers and provide an experience for them that not only looks amazing but the performance is amazing and offers things like ray tracing in like cell shaded games or kid marketed games. Oh my gosh, I really think that the Series S could widen the scope of Xbox's touch or scope just with that alone. I mean, yeah, we would have a lot of people that would complain that have already bought the Series S right now that would feel kind of cheated. But if Microsoft was to offer them an upgrade path to upgrade to the Series X, if they were an adult and wanted more of that adult gaming experience that the Series X would offer, I don't see that being a problem. Maybe using GameStop to further that deal with them, have people be able to bring their Series S in and upgrade, to the Series X at like half cost or something. And then when they resell those Xbox Series S's, they throw in a 6 month Game Pass and 6 month of Game Pass Ultimate to be able to keep that price up there and get people into that ecosystem and really use that to push Xbox Game Pass and I mean, I know that sounds counterintuitive to use GameStop to push a subscription service, but if that helps to where Xbox Series X can fully be utilized this generation, I'm all for it. Because I bought the Series S for my daughter, and there's experiences on there that I don't think that should be available to her at her age. There's games on that are more adult and should. I believe that Series X should be marketed towards adults, and the Series S should be marketed more as a next gen console for kids and family. And I think that I think there's room in this. I think there's room in this market for that to happen. I do believe though that if Microsoft does let this go forward, they need to developers need to show cause of why their system just wouldn't be of why their game wouldn't be an optimal experience on the Series S in order for it to be made for or to be made exclusive for Xbox Series X, or would have to carry an M rating, like a mature rating, so that they could justify not putting that on the not by not being able to put that on the Series S. If that makes sense, they would have to find. I mean, there would have to be a sweet spot, but I believe that they could do that. And I mean, in all actuality, I really think that PlayStation should drop a $300 system with lower specs and do the same thing for their ecosystem. I think that because I know the reason why that I'm even bringing this up is because I'm an older gamer. I've been playing video games for a long time, and I mean, let's face it. Next month we get Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation 5, and I mean, I'll buy it and I'll play it, but it's really not the experience that I'm looking for as a gamer. And I'm starting to feel like my only next step to continue to enjoy games the way I want to enjoy games is to have to go PC. But I feel if Microsoft and Sony made $300 consoles that were marketed toward kids and families, and let us older gamers have our full blown experiences, with the higher tier consoles, I feel like this console generation will be a lot better, and I'm pretty sure there's enough developers out there that would pick up the slack. And because I mean, you would still have your racing games on the Series S, you would still have your sports games on the Series S, you would still have. I mean, you could probably still get like Call of Duties on there. They usually those games usually aren't too heavy, and they could theoretically still run on a Series S. I mean, you would still have that up to teen experience on the Xbox Series S, which doesn't require a 4K TV or really intensive graphics and stuff like that to be marketed and please that crowd that it would be marketed for. I just don't see. I mean, like right now we're seeing things being able to run pretty decently on the Series S, and that's because most games are still running like a last gen version of them. They're still kind of being built around that type of a system. So I mean, when we start really seeing next gen games, I honestly feel Microsoft should do this. They should just jump on this and market Series S as more of a kid and family friendly console, and invest in developing software for that crowd. Because I mean, everything that gets made for the Series S would still get made for the Series X, but really heavy games wouldn't need to. It wouldn't force developers to develop those games for the lower tier systems. And especially if Sony was to be smart about this and put out a PlayStation 5 like mini or something, or a PlayStation 5 base that would compete in that market with Microsoft, and these two consoles go for that younger generation of gamers. Because I'll tell you what, when parents have younger kids, they're not thinking Xbox or PlayStation for these guys, because PlayStations and Xboxes are marketed for us. They're thinking Nintendo Switch. So if Microsoft and Sony really want to get in that market, they need to market those systems for that generation. Like the Xbox Series S should be marketed toward, kids and family. A PlayStation 5 Mini should be marketed towards kids and family. I don't see how that wouldn't work. I see that as being a major opportunity for growth in both of these consoles for their ecosystems. You get, you get a parent, to buy an Xbox Series S for their kids. I'm pretty sure that's why Xbox Series S exists in the first place, because they were trying to go after that market, that Nintendo market. That's why it's $299. That's why it's more powerful. But I feel like they should really double down on that and make games exclusively for that are aimed at that market space, because games like Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch are blowing the doors off of almost everything, that's a Sony or a Microsoft first party. That market's huge. That market is there and just needs to be tapped into. So I really hope that Phil Spencer or Microsoft or somebody sees this video and takes it seriously and does that, and allows us older gamers to be able to fully get the power of the consoles that we paid for, and not hold a generation back for a system that, 2 years down the road might not be able to meet that basic minimum standard. And I would hate to see developers hold anything back on the Xbox Series X to be able to put it on, to not be able to give us that true vision of what they want, because theoretically that game's just going to go to PlayStation as an exclusive, and that would really hurt Microsoft in the long run. They would be better off to split this generation now for family, or kids and family and adults, and move forward, because anything that's made for the Series S would easily play on the Series X. So I feel like they should focus that resource in that direction, and I really do think Sony should do the same thing. I really think they should both have an entry-level system that is designed for younger generations. Call me crazy, but I really think that would work extremely well in the gaming market that we have today. There's no reason why these companies should not do that, and I don't think loyal Xbox fans would be upset with that. I don't. I think they would be more than happy to let Series S become a kid and family friendly console, and still go out of their way to get the Series X if they want that full experience. I really think that this is the perfect generation to experiment with a design like this, and to really go after a bigger market share for Microsoft than what it currently is. I just think they need to, I really think they need to draw that line and say that games can be made exclusive to Xbox Series X, as long as they're a mature rated game, or an experience that just theoretically wouldn't give an optimal experience on the Series S. I don't think that they should. I don't think that this market is really going to be okay with a subpar experience, especially if we're getting down to like 720p on a next gen console, just so that a game will work. I would much rather it not be on the Series S and be made better for Series X than to produce a subpar experience. So I think Microsoft should take this seriously and really look at this and really think about it and do something really soon about it. So yeah, tell me in the comments, let me know what you think about this, and see if maybe there's a way that we can make this a reality. Thanks for watching. I'm Andrew. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's talk more about this kind of stuff in the future. Thank you.